This apartment costs about $1,000. This amazing apartment is for those of you who want something for vacation, 400 square meters. Now, the most important thing, Emmanuel, how much does it cost?
I want to introduce you to Jocelyn and Laura.
On this hot morning from Cati to the sea, I welcome you to a new video. As you read in the title, we're going to be touring properties in La Guaira, checking out the prices, and seeing if there are still investment opportunities, or if that train has already passed. So stay tuned, because we're going to be visiting different towns and neighborhoods in La Guaira and see if it's still worth buying a little beach apartment or investing to rent it out on Airbnb or Booking. Who knows? For those who don't know me, I'm Emmanuel. My wife and I are travel fanatics, though she didn't come today. This first building we're going to visit is just a minute away from the Playa Grande Marriott. You probably know it. It's back there in the distance, and you can also see the sea from there. Look at the huge pool, and this is how it looks. Well, the building is in the shadows. This apartment will be one of the most affordable ones we'll see today, and we'll be increasing the price as we go through the day. It costs $55,000 and it's on the ground floor. Without further ado, and after showing you the beauty of the common areas, let's go see it. Here are the grills right next to the pool. There's one here and the other one is over there. Out here we enter the first apartment. We're in the shed area, the living room. Over here we have the dining area, and here we have the bar and the kitchen. An apartment that comes with everything you see. It's fridge, oven, and stove. Take a look over here. It has 86 square meters, and now we're going to see the first and main one of 3 bedrooms. This is the master bedroom with its closets over there, air conditioning, and a television. And over here is the main bathroom. Quite spacious, simple, but well functional. We leave the first bedroom and enter the second one. A room that has a bunk bed, and over here a sofa bed, its little closet, television, and air conditioning. The owner of the property was telling me that up to 10 people have slept here. You can tell it's an apartment they used to share on weekends with all the family who came to visit. Yeah, that's why you can see here 1, 2, 3, basically 4, because that opens up there. And over here is the third bedroom with an inflatable mattress. Of course, it needs a little bit of care, some small details if you want. You could keep this type of air conditioner, which is really cold, but if not, you can also change them for split units. In this room, you have 2 water tanks, although they told me that the water is supplied twice a day, in the morning and at night. There are also times when there's no water, so you have to be prepared. I lived in La Guaira for 6 years with 1 tank, which was enough since I didn't host parties for 10 people. They also have a freezer here, and that's pretty much it, along with, well, the last bathroom, the second bathroom in the house. Now you tell me, since you're watching, what do you think? Do you think it's an investment opportunity for $55,000? Of course, everything is negotiable, but I'm not the one to say how much the price can go down or if it's the exact price. Well, because I don't just do this for making videos. Tell me, you who are watching, I want you to leave a comment on this video, like type 1. First apartment, I consider it an important investment. I don't like it. Then the second, the third, the fourth, and so on with all the ones we visit today. So while you're watching, you can leave your comment there and keep filling it in. And at the end of the whole video, you hit enter and post all your opinions about the apartments we're going to visit today. Now we came to visit another property right here in Catialama, in Playa Grande. Let's say in the area where I feel there's the most potential, although honestly, this building really needs a lot of maintenance, especially on the outside. Look at the number of air conditioners that are leaking and dripping, and a little bit of paint maintenance would do it good. And this is how we enter this apartment that has 91 square meters. Look at that huge screen. You can tell the owner lives here because they're setting up for Christmas. Look how beautiful the kitchen is. Here you have your little table, and the fridge is even bigger than the one in my house. It's spectacular. Here are the washer and dryer, 3 water tanks, obviously a water container, your sink, and an air fryer. I don't know if it comes with all of this. I imagine it does, but we'll confirm it anyway. Here we have a microwave, an oven. Over here we have a multi-gym, a freezer, and a treadmill. And of course, with all that view, those windows need a bit of cleaning, but these here already look much nicer. Look at that beautiful view. And now we're going to show you the rooms. Over here is the auxiliary room with its 2 bunk beds, well, triple bunks. You can pull out a bed there. Screen. Over here is the bathroom of the main bedroom, and here is the main room. Also with the same view towards the sea. Look how beautiful. A desk, a screen, also quite large. And over here is the second bathroom, which would be the guest bathroom or the bathroom for the first bedroom, also with its own shower. We still need to confirm if the furniture stays or goes. But it has a value of $73,000. That is less than $800 per square meter. Remember, it has 91 square meters. Of course, well, its air conditioners work very well. Everything is up to date because people live here. It's functional. So tell me, is it worth investing in this property or not? That's true. And as I mentioned, when we check the common areas, the building needs maintenance. For me, that's the biggest drawback, especially in buildings with many apartments, and it's that the condo owners have to come to an agreement. But it's true that with good management, you can't see any structural damage or anything. It's more like painting and repairing the air conditioners, which are leaking in many apartments. So with good organization and character, discipline, this is something that can be changed because honestly, this building has a lot of potential. It has a parking spot too, but it has more than 50 guest spots and you can use as many as you want. I mean, it's almost like a whole terrace just for guest parking, which is something that not many buildings in this area have. Guest spots are very limited, or they simply don't have any. And it's true, or well, for those who don't have an apartment at the beach. Those who want to come with friends, those who want to come to party, guest parking spots are very important too. So that's a plus for this property. Also, like I said, it's just too spectacular. On the inside for $73,000, I want to introduce you to Jocelyn and Laura. Jocelyn is the house rental agent, the real estate agent with whom I'll be spending the whole day today, visiting all the properties and whom I'll be interviewing later on. And Laura, well, she's the friend of the owner of this property I just showed you, and she manages short-term rental apartments. Correct?
Correct.
Can you tell me a little more, Laura, about what you do and what services you offer?
We manage and handle apartments for short-term rentals for other people. People who have their apartment empty, who are either outside the country or within the country and want to generate some income with their property.
And do they have to take care of listing them on Airbnb, on Booking, or do you handle absolutely everything?
We take care of absolutely everything. We go to the apartment, make sure it has the proper conditions to be part of the short-term rental business. Additionally, we take care of a manual, meaning that the property has a user manual for the guests who are going to stay there. In addition to that, well, we handle the entire process of listing the property on Airbnb or whichever platform it will be published on. And well, we also have an Instagram and a number of social media platforms to advertise the apartments.
You boost the apartments further by promoting them on social media in addition to rental platforms.
Correct?
And also, obviously, you take care of the cleaning.
Well, there are several options. So, well, we can simply advise the person about what temporary rentals are about. There's another option where we can work together, we teach them, and also support them. There's also an option where we handle all property management, including cleaning, operations, and maintenance, and deliver everything to them at month's end. These were the apartments, generated expenses, and so on.
And Laura, can I know what percentage, or I don't know if it's a fixed amount or a percentage, how much would it cost me? For me, for example, I'm Venezuelan living abroad, or I'm a foreigner who wants to invest in Venezuela. And while I'm not here, look, I just want to focus on investing and I don't want to know anything about the apartment. Other than receiving the monthly rent, how much would that cost me? I'm not sure if you work on a percentage or a fixed amount. Like if you tell me, look, it's 20, 30, I don't know what percentage you guys say. I give you the apartment keys and you deposit into my account monthly. Whatever is done.
If it's a percentage, it depends on the apartment's occupancy. It's different for a downtown apartment with higher capacity for guests. As for an apartment that has a lower capacity for people and is suddenly in a more difficult area to rent, it will depend. It's a percentage that will depend on the occupancy of the apartment.
And on average, how much would it be if you can say?
Approximately 20%.
Okay. So if you already know that 10 nights were rented, well, 2 nights are for the commission of Laura and the company. If you rent 20 nights, they get 4, and you don't have to worry about anything. I think so. I'm not sure if it's exactly 20% for the full service. If that's the case, I think it's a good price since I've seen some companies charge 25 or even 30, which is the highest I've seen. So 20% is fine, but they can still reach her on your social media, right?
Yes, hasta más 58 alojamientos y gestión.
All right, and there you can ask her about all the services they offer. And now, well, we're going to visit the next apartment and interview Jocelyn. Just in case, if you want to be the ones to invest in a property, well, look, you can make a combo. Buy with Jocelyn and then rent it out with Laura. And there you have the complete business. Right before leaving the apartment, they answered us. What do they take and what do they leave in case you're interested in this property? Tell me, Laura, what do they take? They leave everything else.
They take the TVs, the freezer, the exercise machines, and the washer dryer is negotiable. That is, they can leave it or take it, and they also take the fridge.
That is, if they leave, well, the stove, oven, microwave, furniture, bed, this little table, and yes, they take everything else. Honestly, if you want to keep it, you can probably just negotiate and pay for it separately, since it's already there. For example, the fridge is built in. Here, well, the freezer, you can buy this one yourselves too. And there you have all the information. While we head to the next apartment, I want to introduce you to Jocelyn from Rent a House. She's the one who organized all the visits for today. Even though she told me she doesn't specialize in properties in La Guaira, out of all the real estate agents I contacted to see properties in La Guaira, she was the one who sent them to me in the most organized way. She gave me access to a website where everything was nicely organized instead of sending me a bunch of photos and text through WhatsApp. If you want to see just one property, it's not bad to have all the details in one conversation. If you want to analyze 10 properties they send, imagine 10 WhatsApp messages with 100 photos. 10 photos for each apartment. It's a mess. So I want to thank you for that, Jocelyn.
Thank you so much, Emmanuel. First of all, for considering me. I did take on the challenge of going to La Guaira today, which isn't my main area. My focus is Caracas. But since it's for you, obviously I couldn't say no, right? I've already been working in the real estate sector for 15 years. It's something that honestly I'm passionate about that I really enjoy, and of course I do it with deep love.
Jocelyn, tell me something. Do you think there are still good deals in La Guaira, or are those what we call skinny chicken prices here in Venezuela? Do they no longer exist? Or I don't know. Tell me your perspective after so many years working in this field.
Look, eventually opportunities come up, okay? But the time of lean prices in a way has already passed. From 2018 to 2019, 2020, even 2021, the prices were literally a bargain. Nowadays, there has been a rebound in the sector in general, not only in La Guaira, Caracas, but throughout the whole country.
Do you remember any prices? Like when you say, I can't believe apartments used to cost this much in La Guaira.
Yes, look, we used to have apartments for $12,000.
Wow.
12,000, 14,000, and even 10,000. That was during Venezuela's lean times.
That wasn't even the price of a car.
It wasn't even what a car costs nowadays, right? We're discussing a low-end car that costs $10,000 in the country.
And I'd even say, not even nowadays, because it's crazy, but I feel like cars, not even during the toughest crisis in our country, dropped in price as much as real estate did.
Absolutely. Look at Caracas. We had areas with properties at 20, 22, 25. In municipalities like El Antillo, you know, those were really rock bottom prices. That period has kind of passed, but I repeat, opportunities still come up from time to time, and we have clients who are hunting for those opportunities.
Of course. And are most of your clients Venezuelans living in Venezuela, Venezuelans living abroad, or foreigners?
Look, honestly, most of my clients live here, okay? Because of my experience and my career, I have a pretty blessed portfolio, so to speak, of clients who always believe in the country and are here, they're here.
Okay. There's a question I always get, especially from foreigners who watch us. Is it possible for a foreigner to buy property in Venezuela? Or does it have to be under the name of a Venezuelan partner, and so on?
Yes, it's completely possible. In fact, there are foreigners investing in the country. It's just a matter of getting a permit from SARAM. It's really not complicated at all, but there are a lot of foreigners betting on and investing in the country, especially in these uncertain times. But there is a good percentage of foreign investors.
I always say that the greatest times of crisis are also when the greatest opportunities arise. It's true that, well, we've been going through a difficult situation for quite some time. But you won't find these prices in any other Latin American country or anywhere else. But let's talk about neighboring countries. For example, there aren't similar prices, and, well, if everything gets better, the prices just shoot up, right?
Emmanuel, we're talking about the price per square meter in the capital, Caracas, being one of the lowest in the entire continent. Okay, that means in times of crisis, there are opportunities. Those with vision know this is the time.
With this beautiful view of the beach, we're heading to Makuto to go see our next property. We've arrived in Makuto. This building is very close to the Crystal Mar restaurant. You can see the facades over here. Here's the pool of the building. Pretty nice, very clean, and another one here for the kids. They're little tables. Over there, you have the showers for good access to the pool, and also over here, bathrooms here, a ping pong table, which is very important for those who like ping pong. Write to me to set up some games because I'm a fan. Wow, look, there's even a little soccer field. No way. Those who have seen our videos from a long time ago will know that I used to live in Los Corrales, 5 minutes from Makuto, and I would have loved to have a little field like this as a kid to play a quick game with my buddies. And well, over here is the grill area with music. And over here, there's a little party room that connects to the pool. It's little bar. I'm already inside the apartment, which is 78 square meters. And before I tell you the price, I want to show you this view, which has an almost panoramic view of the sea. Let me move out of the way because I think that blocks the beauty of the view. So I'll show it to you and start the tour of the apartment. This is the living room. There's the dining area, more furniture over there. Over here, there's a bar and a pretty new sound system. Here's the kitchen. Well, the fridge, microwave, and here, the kitchen with the oven. Here is the guest bathroom. Although it's a full bathroom, it has a shower. Here is the secondary bedroom. A bunk bed, it's small closet, air conditioning, and over here is the master bedroom. With its mirror, its television, and the main bathroom. This apartment costs $66,000. They were telling me that the price is pretty firm, so it's hard to negotiate. Ultimately, everything comes down to supply and demand. If you make an offer and the owner needs to sell, and maybe we can lower it a little bit, or maybe not, maybe that's the exact price. But tell me, what do you think about $66,000 here in Makuto? In fact, well, from the window you can see the famous Cristalmar restaurant. Now that they've left me alone here in the apartment, I want to reflect a little about the crazy investment opportunities out there. And well, in Venezuela in general, and I know we're in a crisis, I know there's an inherent risk to investing in this country, and that's why, well, prices are so low. But think about it. An apartment for $66,000. How much could a night in this Airbnb cost? And it could be, I don't know, $60, $70. Let's say 60 for 4 people. Or 60, yeah. Let's say $70 minus the cleaning fee, let's say $20. Let's say you end up with $50, or $66,000 divided by $50. That's approximately about 1,320 nights. I'm not sure I'll get it if it's really 1,300, but I want it. It's about doing the math here with you to see 66,000 divided by 50. 1,320 nights. I like numbers, especially multiplying and dividing, but I like numbers. It's 1,320 nights. Out of 360 days in a year, it feels like 4 years. Obviously, renting every day, which doesn't make sense, but think about it in 5 or 6 years. That's about average 5 or 6 years. Assuming you rented out 10, 12, or 14 nights a month, I don't know. In any normal country, normal, for example, in Madeira, where we were a few years ago, obviously in Portugal, the island of Madeira, the cheapest apartment cost 200 and something thousand euros, and it was also worth 60 or 70 euros per night to rent, 200 and something thousand euros. So, over there, you rent it for twice as many nights as here. Twice the nights because the price is pretty much the same. So over there, it's rented for twice as many nights as here. Here, you would recover your investment faster than over there because the apartment over there costs 4 times what the one here costs. 200,000 euros is about $240,000, enough for 4 of these apartments. So again, let's say over there you rent out the apartment for 20 or 25 nights a month, which would be a crazy amount of rent. And here you only rent it out for 8 or 10 nights, which is just the weekends. And even then you recover your investment faster here than over there. But it's true that over there you have loans, while here there are no loans, or maybe there are loans, but they're at very high interest rates. However, and this is another point to take into account, when you go to buy a property abroad, and you're not a resident, for example, they ask you for a 20 or even 30% down payment. And how much would 20% of 200,000 euros be? 40,000 euros, which in dollars is $48,000, $47,000. Practically 80% of what this apartment costs, meaning that with what you pay as a down payment to buy an apartment abroad, here you already have the whole property. Obviously, and I'll say it again because I know some ill-intentioned people and keyboard haters who love to twist information. There is a risk, there is a political situation, there is a crisis in the country. Obviously, I know all those risks, but I also live in Venezuela and I know the opportunities that exist. So, make money. And I love it. I really love the world of real estate. Unfortunately, I don't have the money to buy a bunch of apartments, but I would love to live off rentals. I would love to live off short-term rentals. It's just that unfortunately in Venezuela there are no loans, and obviously you have to pay everything up front. I don't have the money, but I know there are many of you, I mean many. Look, 5 years ago we met a Spanish friend with his Venezuelan girlfriend who had left the country. Well, they met abroad, they started dating. About 3 years later, the guy came to Venezuela. His girlfriend brought him, they visited Canaima, Margarita, and so on. And when I talked to him again, he actually told me, I bought 2 apartments in Margarita. And he didn't even have the money. I mean, he got a loan abroad. He made the down payment and bought 2 apartments in Margarita. It's been 3 years since this happened. I mean, it's been 2 or 3 years. The apartments he bought are already worth 30% more because he bought them 3 years ago. And obviously, prices in Venezuela still aren't normal yet, you know. They're not at rock bottom. But there are still opportunities, and I'm sure that at any moment, this will be worth at least 50% more, and maybe even double, or even 100% more. But anyway, enough with the reflections. I probably spent too much time sharing my thoughts, but that's just who I am. Sometimes it's better not to say everything I think. I should think before speaking, but sometimes I speak first and think after. Thank God we have post-production or editing to erase some things, but sometimes not even with all that, and I end up publishing and I say, done. Why did I say that nonsense? But anyway, the fact is that I'm being as sincere as possible, as honest as possible. And again, before people say whatever they want, I feel that there are still opportunities in Venezuela, very interesting ones to make money. And to wrap up this video, we've come to the plains. Look at how many parties from when I was young I remember having, and coming to visit. In this neighborhood in La Guaira, we're going to visit a luxury apartment. And keep watching because you're going to be surprised by this last property in this video about the prices in La Guaira. Wow, look at that. What a beautiful view. As soon as you enter this building, down there you have the pool and the sea in the background. You have this whole terrace over here and up here, the entire building. Down here you can see the pool, the palapa area and the grills, and we'll get a better look at the view. We're going to show it to you better in a moment, but look at the landscape, the gardens, how everything is so well maintained. Over here you can get, a front view of, yes, the building. It even has a gym. Yeah, I don't know if you can see a little through the glass, but there are a few machines over there. Here's the tables and pool area, which is really nice, kind of like a small jacuzzi or a pool there for the kids. And over here is everything I was telling you about from up there. Here is the grill. I imagine you have to request it to use it, but it's really nice. I'm entering the 400 square meter apartment here in La Llanada. You look, all of this you see here is the living room. Over there is the screen, a sitting area, another sitting area, and the dining room over there. And tell me about this view. I mean, it's panoramic. Look over there. Down there is the pool of this building, the one from the other building, and the one from the other one. And over there, the whole sea. By the way, they were telling me that over there, something called Camurimar is like a beach club. It also has some little cabins they're building over there, some paddle courts, a small pool, and breakwaters, so the entrance to the sea isn't so dangerous. And with the kids, all of this is super close to the building right here on the plain. Look how spacious this place is. Well, it's 400 square meters and has 2 floors. All right. We leave this little room and we're going to show you the kitchen. Look at how crazy of the kitchen. We leave the living room and enter the kitchen. There's the microwave, well, kitchen, oven, fridge, and over here you have another access to the dining room. One is here by the house entrance, and there's a small table if you want to eat there, or otherwise the dining room is over here. Before going up to the second floor, I'm going to show you the bedrooms. Right next to the kitchen, there's a small room that can be used as a maid's room or for storage. Next to it, we have another room that, well, it's completely empty. As you can see, the entire floor is marble. Here's a bathroom. In total, this apartment has 5 rooms and 5 full bathrooms. There are no half bathrooms. Even the guest bathroom has a shower. This is like the master bedroom on the lower floor, not the main one of the whole apartment, and it also has the full view. Facing the beach. Of course, well, it needs some improvements, but overall, everything is working perfectly. And now, we're going upstairs. Here we go. Going up. Before showing you the master bedroom, let me show you the other room. What's up here on the second floor? There you go. Like a study or something like that. The little bathroom. Up here, and now we're leaving to the master bedroom. Wow, obviously good. The bedroom sets aren't that new, but the space in this room, I mean, it's a king size bed and you could easily fit another bed right here. The space doesn't make sense. There's your mini fridge, the bathroom, and a jacuzzi. And now, there's still a little bit left, but there's still some to go. Here there's, well, like another area, another small room, and it has an exit to the terrace. Okay, we're going to show it to you now on the terrace. They also have, well, the view of the beach. And back here they have a view of the mountain. All these buildings you see here are part of the plain, and honestly, it's an amazing apartment. If you want something for vacation, 400 square meters, but well, if you wanted to move in, you're going to have an impressive mansion. Now, the most important thing, Emmanuel, how much does it cost? Well, the starting price. I'm not saying it can't be negotiated, but honestly, when you visit a luxury property, you don't even ask, is it negotiable? No, I mean, you don't even ask that. It's $305,000. What do you think about this 400 square meter property? 5 bedrooms, 5 years old, living room. The building is good, in perfect condition, social areas for $305,000. Again, I didn't even ask if it was negotiable. That's what I love to do in these videos. Go visit pretty affordable properties and say, well, look, yes, this price is negotiable and all that. Because obviously there are people who are really tight when looking for a property, and every cent they can save is going to make a difference. But then there's this other type of property that's definitely for a different kind of people. And look, people who buy luxury properties aren't asking for a discount. Either they like it or they don't. Obviously, as you saw, it might need to be remodeled. Some things changed, some things improved. But I showed you everything. I want you to tell me what you think about this one and all the other apartments we've seen in this video. Jocelyn, I have a very important question. What do you think? Or what do you recommend clients take into consideration when making an investment in a property at the beach?
Okay, look, that will depend directly on the client's needs, okay? But for me, it's essential to evaluate the general condition of the buildings. That just happened to us with this property, which is the second one we were able to visit. The apartment inside, internally, is very beautiful, but the building in general is very...
Yes, deteriorated?
Deteriorated? Sure. So then what? When you buy a property, you can modify the inside however you like. But the building itself, if it doesn't function well, as an owner, you basically won't be able to do much. So it's essential to evaluate the general condition of the properties and, of course, the functioning of the amenities. We're discussing general amenities like the pool and playground.
I'd also like to add that it depends a bit on the interest you have in a building. It's true that if a building is very run down, it's not worth it. It doesn't even make sense to invest. But if, for example, what you want is to go for a weekend with your family, with your friends, to have a good time. And the building, well, it needs a few repairs here and there, but overall it's not that bad. And you really like the apartment and it has a good price, you can invest. Because it's true that if you have a building that's in perfect condition, everything very, very beautiful. Obviously, the prices go up.
But if you want to make an investment to capitalize on it with short-term rentals, Airbnb, or booking, of course, everything Jocelyn just mentioned about the buildings areas is vital.
And after that visit to 5 properties, because even though you saw 4 in this video, we actually visited 5. It's just that one of them, one of the nicest, but definitely not the most expensive, we visited. It was beautiful, but the owners preferred it not be recorded or shown. Yeah, so we can't share it with you, but if you want to see it, you can ask Jocelyn, and of course, she'll send you the photo because the photos are published online. I mean, it's not that the sale of that apartment is private, it's on the Rent-A-House website. But, well, among so many properties, if you write directly to Jocelyn, she can send it to you. And Jocelyn, tell me, what's your preferred way for people to contact you? Through Instagram, through a WhatsApp phone number? How can they get more information about properties both in La Guaira and in Caracas?
You can find me on Instagram at jocelyncarmona.rah, Jocelyn with a J. I'm also on TikTok at ebejcarmona.ra. And Emmanuel, I wanted to thank you for the space, for considering me. I'm super pleased, honored, and happy to be with you today.
Well, travelers, don't forget to subscribe if this is your first time here, and also check out the rest of the property videos. Not only in La Guaira, Caracas, Margarita, but we also have them in Portugal, in Brazil. I mean, we make these kinds of videos in many places. I love seeing how the real estate market is in the different countries and cities I visit, and leave me a comment. Which did you like most? What were your thoughts on each? That's all. See you in a few days with the next video.